I'm going to share a secret with you guys today, and it is the top secret of a top producer. Actually, I'm going to share two secrets with you guys today of top producers and what makes them and separates them from the rest, from the average. If you are struggling with getting past one or two transactions every month or two, or maybe three, listen up. This is for you. If you are struggling getting to that next level, listen up. This is probably for you also. There are two secrets that I don't think they're really secrets. They're going to be really obvious when I share them in just a second with you guys. But I've been coaching for a little over 30 years now, from not professionally, but sales coaching and guidance for salespeople. I did it in my previous industry when I was in the IT industry and selling software and platforms and hardware there. And I continue to do it today through real estate in my role as the broker at Douglas Realty. So what are the secrets? Again, they're going to be really obvious, but if you're not in the first secret's going to get you in the top 20%. If you're not in the top 20%, I promise you think you're doing this, but you're not. And then the second secret, if you couple those two together, the first one and the second one, you will get into the top 5%. And again, if you think you do these things and you're not in the top 5%, I guarantee you're not doing them. Okay? So listen up, a little harsh, but pretty direct. So the first secret is systems. Systems will always outperform skill. All right. And when you look at top producers across any industry, it doesn't matter. When you look at top producers, what do they have that differentiates them from the average salesperson? They have systems. What is a system? A system is nothing more than a checklist. And I'm not going to go into great detail on systems today. I do want to circle back in probably the next week or two and talk more about systems, because there's a whole lot to systems and a lot of things that I think we could probably spend a good 10, 15 minute video on. So we're not going to do that today because I want to get to the second secret also. But systems, nothing more than a checklist, right? So what does that really mean though? What separates? You might have some systems in place, but why are you still struggling? Why are you still not in that top 20%? It's probably because you don't have a system for every single thing that happens in your day. So when you get that phone call from that prospective buyer and it's a cold phone call, do you have a system, a checklist to go through, whether mentally, on paper, in a computer, doesn't matter. Do you have a system to go through so you can very quickly go through and identify what their needs are, set up appointments, whatever the case might be. When you get that phone call or communication to come do a listing presentation, do you have a system for that? So again, kind of break down your day of all the different things that happen, and you need a system for every single thing that happens in a day. So that's number one. If you can master that skill, that'll get you in the top 20%. How do we get to the top 5%? This one's really obvious, but I promise you, nobody does it, or very few. Top 5% do it, obviously, right? But again, you think you're doing it, but you're not. And when you think about systems and a checklist, in my opinion, again, for my years, 30 plus years in coaching and providing sales guidance, this is the one thing that always separates the great from the, let's just say, average that are getting by. And that is every single checklist, every single system you have throughout the day for different things that happen. At the very end of that checklist is one thing that's common across all of your systems. And that is two words. And again, this is what people think they do, but they miss it. The two words are what's next. And I promise you, if you're not doing that at the end of every single communication that you're having with a prospect, a lead, a client, a past client, if you're not establishing what's next, how do you get to that next phase of that relationship? How do you get to showing more homes? How do you get to closing a deal with a client? How do you get to your next deal from past clients? It's what's next, right? So usually you as the salesperson, you're going to be the one establishing that. So that needs to be top of mind at the end of every conversation you have, communication, whether it be text, email, phone call, in person. I don't care how you're doing it. You must end that conversation with what's next. You don't actually have to say that. You just establish what's coming next, right? And sometimes you'll find that the person you're talking to will actually do that for you. Not often, but you need to establish that next face-to-face meeting, that next what's happening, that next we're showing more houses, whatever the case might be. So again, that's the two top things that separate the great from the average, right? Again, very simple, but not so simple. Because again, in all of my years in coaching, looking at just the real estate industry as a whole, I don't see that happening. The cool thing is, as a broker, I get to see a lot of back-end conversations. A lot of these lead sources, a lot of these CRM systems will record conversations, whether they're email, text, or phone. And everybody knows they're being recorded, so it's not anything that's hidden. But in doing a constant audit and check on those conversations to better help our agents at Douglas Realty, that's the one thing that I see missing from almost every single conversation. And even some of our best salespeople don't always get that, right? So what's next? You must end every single communication with what's next. So establish that. Get your systems in place. And again, I'll come back in a week or two and talk more about systems because there's a whole lot more to that. But just think about systems for now. Every little thing that happens in your day should have a checklist for it, no matter what it is. And if you could do that, you're not going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to be able to handle anything that happens, anything that comes your way. You're going to be able to manage that and follow whatever system, whatever checklist. Again, it's just a checklist. Follow that checklist. And then don't forget, ask what's next or establish what's next.